Hello, welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Buddy's Circus, released in 1934. It's the 91st in the series and it's directed by Jack King. It's available on the Looney Tunes Golden Collection Volume 6 DVD set. A HD version of it is on the Blu-ray for Kentucky Colonels. And it's a great film as well, so at least you get this short, which is one of those so bad it's good shorts, and I'll go through that in a moment, but at least you'll get a pretty funny movie, and then you get this short as a bonus. In case you haven't seen this one, I can't show you the full thing here on YouTube due to copyright. If I upload it, it'll just get blocked, so don't bother asking me to upload this, because it just can't happen, literally. But in case you haven't seen it, well, Buddy owns a circus, and he does a lot of the work as a promoter, barker, whatever, and we just see various circus shenanigans, including some incredibly racist stuff. So yeah, it's one of those shorts. First up, you're going to see a re-edit of the original audio commentary I did before I had to take that down. Then you'll hear some new thoughts from me. So without further ado, let's get into it. But this cartoon actually feels very similar to I Love a Parade. It does different gags and all that. It's not a direct copy or anything, and in fact, the other one was made by the Harmonizing Studio, and this one was made directly at the studio for Leon Schlesinger, but it's very similar. If you play both of them, you can definitely see some shared ideas, but this is a pretty good gag, and I guess that's one way to save a bit on animation, where you just reuse the same drawings again. With this cartoon, I like how it's got those elephants. Like, why would those elephants just stand still? That's a bit bizarre, but you can see it right away in the background there that, yeah, these people of color were viewed as nothing more than, jungle savages, which, yeah, it's obviously not appropriate. Definitely not. Unfortunately, that's how it was, where the circuses would have all the so-called freak show on the outside, and would have people like, incredibly obese people, tattooed people, and all sorts. And, the citizenry would go to these circuses to see things that they normally wouldn't see, the freaks of society. And there wasn't a proper understanding of other cultures. So, and this just, it's really disturbing. But I do like the animation here. It's similar to those extreme close-ups that were in Buddy's Bearcats, and it's a shame there's no more. Maybe it was asked to tone it back, I don't know. But at least we have a bit of a story here with this baby getting into trouble. I mean, look at that. That is just fantastic. Oh, and this gag, this gag is perfection. That's how you do a gag. That's with the ice cream and then biting the finger at the end. I did not expect that. That is fantastic. And again, I've noticed that Buddy doesn't really do much. In the 4 recent Buddy cartoons directed by Jack King, yeah, he's actually downplayed quite a bit. I mean, he's obviously there, and he does stuff, but he doesn't have as much screen time. Yeah, I wonder if the animators realized how hippos are actually pretty dangerous in the wild, and that cage was pretty small for it. But anyway, so those are my original thoughts. So looking at this one again, now in HD, not that it improves the cartoon much, but whatever. I'll take any upgrade, I suppose. So this was made at a time where circuses, they had a ton of animal acts where, sadly, the animals weren't treated as well as they should have been. Yeah, you might get some exceptions here and there, but for the most part, the animals were not treated well, and they were essentially tortured into doing tricks for food and that sort of stuff. And the audience would be completely blissfully unaware, going, ooh, look at those smart animals. But yeah, that's why I'm not a fan of the old-time circus stuff. And also there would be so-called freak shows, which seemingly existed for quote-unquote normal people to gawk and stare and laugh at these weird freaks, because that's not something that they will normally see in their day-to-day lives. And a lot of it would be a whole, oh, how quaint. Or it might be something that they'll see in something like National Geographic, and then they could see it in person, like, oh, a native person right in front of me. How quaint. That sort of thing. These days, circuses have evolved where it's mainly to do with acrobatics and that sort of stuff. And I'd say that's a good thing, because I'm definitely not a fan of how the animals were involved in these circuses. But enough about that. As mentioned in the commentary highlights that you just heard, Buddy is once again put to the side in favour of the other shenanigans happening at the circus, and I think, again, Jack King figured out just have Buddy in as less as possible, because really there's nothing to Buddy in terms of his personality. He's just a plain, bland, white kid, and that's pretty much it. Or an adult. I don't know. I don't even know if he's a kid or not. See, it's so inconsistent, even I don't know who the heck Buddy is. But anyway, let's look at the short for the other bits that I missed in the original track. Now, the first minute is some of the most unintentionally funniest bits in Looney Tunes history. It is just so bizarre. So you start off with the animals in that basket, and the scale of the animals is completely off. And how on earth can all those animals with all that weight fit in the basket? I know, cartoon logic, I know, but it's unintentionally funny for that reason. But then we see, okay, the circus will arrive at 2 p.m. and Buddy's looking at his watch, so he has to have it ready at the 2 o'clock on the dot. Very bizarre, but anyway, just because it says he'll be ready at 2 p.m, you do realize you can set things up a week beforehand or something, like any other normal establishment, like a circus at that time. But anyway, whatever. Then we get this oversized giant octopus getting everything ready, and then he's seemingly killed when squashed by the hot air balloon. Yeah, you can see that in the footage. He's squashed. Like, where does this octopus go? I'm like, alright. Then you got this barker that appears for 2 seconds going, hurry, hurry, hurry. And then you got hundreds and maybe even 1,000 people just rushing to go into this circus. Wow. The first minute really is something in this one. I mean, you can't say Jack King didn't have an imagination. Wow. But things do settle down, and the rest of the short actually pales in comparison. But it's still ridiculous in parts anyway. So I believe Professor Buddy and his musical elephants must be a reference to something. Because on the radio at the time, there would be certain entertainers who would have some sort of a musical bit, but would have like a trained dog. They would sing a line of a song, and then the dog might say woof woof or whatever in time to the music. I don't know if this is referencing someone specific, or if it's just something that was generally on the radio. And chef's kiss to the 20 tons of tunes. Beautiful. Gotta love that. Then we get to the first unfortunate bit in this short, where you got the Ubangi boys from Darkest Africa. And yeah, the stereotypes are really badly drawn, even when it comes to stereotypes. But anyway, it is what it is. I do like the music that you hear in the background, though. That sounds pretty nice. Okay, so that whole saucer lip type thing that you see in a lot of the cartoons, a lot of the time, that sort of thing would have been someone seeing pictures in National Geographic, or maybe some sort of a travel log or something. But around this time, it would be most likely National Geographic. And that was a major source at the time for showing off pictures of people from faraway lands, and no doubt there would have been some sort of article showing different African tribes, including those that used discs in their mouths to stretch them out based on their culture, and no doubt the really big hoops that might be through their nose or ears or whatever, and they would have seen that and going, haha, look how ridiculous they look, and they want to exaggerate and play for laughs here. But hey, Leah, let's make the gag that this native's mouth is like a phonograph. That's genius. And Buddy even says in his thing, saying, and now for a great big laugh. So clearly, yeah, he's just making fun of a native there. Buddy, what are we going to do with you? Oh, in case you're wondering, the song being played in this mouth phonograph is Why Do I Dream These Dreams by Harry Warren. Now we see an Indian rubber man playing on the fact that there were contortionists in these quote-unquote freak shows. But the India Rubbermen was also the title of a 1929 novel by Edgar Wallace, but I doubt the makers of this short were that clever to use that as a reference. Or maybe they did, I don't know. But I think it's just due to the fact that there were a lot of contortionists that were in these circuses at the time. But I gotta say, the animation of the stretchiness of this character is pretty nice to look at. It's definitely a positive.
Next, the India a rubber man. Can he stretch? I'll say he can.
Then we see asbesto, the human stove, and that's a reference to the material asbestos, which really isn't around anymore, or at least not used in anything new when it comes to building sites in most parts of the world. It was a very highly fire-resistant material, and it was like seen as a wonder material for that reason. It was used everywhere, schools, buildings, hospitals, but it was confirmed that it is actually quite deadly because you just have to have one fiber enter your body and land in your lung in one particular way, and that's it, you're gone. That's how bad it is. So, yeah, that's why it's banned in many parts of the world. And yeah, we see an X-ray. X-rays, they were definitely around, and they were used in World War One in the army and that, but they were still seen as this quite novelty device, and I would imagine a lot of the rural areas, which this circus clearly is in some sort of rural town, they may not even have an X-ray machine, so it would have been seen as a bit of a novelty even at this point in time. And the punchline is not even that funny. It's just, okay, you can see in this X-ray he's cooking up a meal. Okay, sure, whatever. Wow, that's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. So we are then halfway through this short and we finally get to the main attraction. And Buddy must really be on the cheap side, or maybe he's losing a lot of money or something because he's done all the work. Because we had a barker in the very beginning of the short, and then he turns into the barker. I guess he just uses him for a few seconds and doesn't want to pay him for any more. I don't know. I'm overthinking things. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. But not as terrible as a kangaroo with a trumpet or trombone. And then the Joey with a trumpet. Yeah, why not? Why not? It's just weird how they show one animal playing an instrument, or two if you count the Joey, of course. And then that's it. I don't know. Really, really weird. But we finally see a Jack King trademark, because in the previous short, you see all these grotesque angles, and you'll see him in a few more Jack King shorts to come. But that whole grotesque looking close-up and weird angle of the guy's teeth, yeah, it kind of hurts my mouth when I see that. It's just, ugh, okay, whatever. And later on, we see Spiff's hams on this person's undies. It must be a reference to something. I don't know if it's just one of those body type gags. I don't know. But if you know the reference to Spiff's hams, let me know in the comments below. And sure, no one notices that there's a baby with the elephant, but hey, at least the elephant dance animation, it's weird, but it's funny. Yeah, whatever. Again, have I mentioned already this is a very bizarre short? But anyway. So, racial issues aside, where you got this one acrobat with the two rings, I just look at this gag and I'm just thinking how painful this looks, and then for a brief moment you even see the rings being ripped out of their noses. Is that the most violent thing in a Looney Tunes short? Could be, but wow, that's really bad. Really bad. And then we get a whole bunch of sequences with an out-of-control acrobat and the baby that people still haven't noticed, including Buddy, by the way, who seems to have disappeared since the main attraction opened. But anyway, I just wish it was funny. I mean, it is timed well to the music, but it's more bizarre than funny, but anyway. And then the mother finally notices that her baby is gone. It took her long enough to realize her baby's gone, but anyway. And I like how her and Buddy are just able to casually climb up that pole. Okay, sure, I guess the mother could be in the circus. She'd be pretty good at the acrobatics, but anyway. And we see some very interesting tattoos on the guy, which it's probably a reference to like some sort of a leopard man or something, where you would have, again, in the quote-unquote freak show, someone tattooing the whole body to transform themselves into an animal or whatever. And the whole ending sequence, it's not really funny, but it is nicely timed, all things considered. You do have to wonder, though, if the audience thinks all of that is part of the act, with Buddy, the baby, the mother, and all that stuff. But anyway, clearly overthinking it, surely. And we see one frame that says, "Welcome Drugs" on it. I guess it could be handy watching this short. Maybe you need something to watch this one, I don't know. But it's, wow, okay. And we end with a sad bit, which is kind of ruined by this woman needing to blow her nose, and she makes a funny sound. Yeah, way to go. That wasn't good directing there, Jack. He should have kept it a bit more serious for that brief moment, but anyway. And we see this baby is safe and sound in a hippo's mouth in a very small cage. And I don't know why this hippo is so happy being in such a small cage. They're, in case you weren't aware, hippos are pretty big animals, right? But anyway. Oh, and by the way, hippos are considered more dangerous in Africa than lions. Yeah, that's true fact. And instead of getting medical care for possible injuries, nah, we'll just dance it off in a circle. Considering the baby's been in the hippo's mouth, nah, it's okay. We'll just dance. Why not? Why not? Wow. Okay, rewatching this short is so bad, but it's one of those so bad it's good shorts. You just watch it and go, wow, this is so bad. It's got so many animation mistakes, scaling problems. A lot of the gags don't even work. It's got horrible racial stereotypes. And yet it's one of the better buddy shorts because it is so bad it's good. But objectively, I have to give this one like a 5 out of 10. It's not good, but at least it's got some wonderfully timed moments, and the ice cream bit made me laugh. That I mentioned in the commentary. And the first minute, chef's kiss to how awful it really is. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and until next time, take care.